What's up, fight fans? And we are back at it with another edition here at Round One Sports TV. I am your host, Edwin. Where do all fights start? Round one. Let's get this show started. I'm trying out the StreamYard software today. See if I can get this to run up uh, and have another different type of platform software I can record on. So we're gonna try this today. See how this goes. So, fight fans, we have interesting news that I'm pretty sure most of you have heard, and if you haven't, that it seems like the Teofimo Lopez and Subriel Matias fight has been confirmed for March 15th. There were a couple other announcements with Jack Catterall. We're going to talk about all that and anything you want to talk about in relation to boxing. Um, so don't forget to click that like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel, and let's just get right into this video. So, what's up, Carlos? How you doing in the building? How you doing, bro? Good to see you. We got a lot to talk about this fight now because if this is, going down between Subriel and Tio, it's about time. We talk about these kind of fights and we want to see the outcome and the results of some of these men and women, actually getting in the ring, and early enough where we can say, you didn't age this guy out. Subriel being all of 32 years old now, he's not like a spring chicken. He comes into the fight with a record of 21, right? And two, right? He has the two losses. He's coming off of a knockout, and when you look back at like, you know, uh, let's say Teal, let's say Teal, right? If we look back at Teal, right, and let me see. All right, Teofimo Lopez is coming off that last fight of his last fight was against Steve Klajic, right? Right? And that performance wasn't the best out of Teo. Just before that, I believe he fought Jermaine Ortiz. Many of us thought he lost that fight. Okay? So Teo's performances of late haven't been like, you know, the greatest performances. Now, the way Liam Paro beat Subriel in Puerto Rico, you know, put a lot of doubt on, a lot of people are in agreement with if you were gonna beat a fighter such as Subriel Matias, that would be the way to do it. You see, so um, Subriel has to devise a different way of entry and distant management. He can't just fall against his opponent and think that Teofimo Lopez is going to sit there to be hit. One thing about Teo, he knows how to spin a fighter. And Teo's going to spin around Subriel and he's going to clinch. He knows that if he nullifies his Subriel's offense on the inside, that it would favor him. It would give him more time to, silence Subriel's offense and give him more opportunity to create offense for himself. Teo, he's very good counter puncher, and when Teo starts to figure out his timing and his distance on you, uh, like I always said, the last thing you want to see when in a Teo fight is for him to start dancing, doing that Fortnite shit on you. Now he's in his zone. That's what you don't want to see. What you want to see when, as soon as Teo started doing that showboating against Josh Taylor, he had Josh Taylor, and Josh Taylor knew it. He was in his head too in the fight, and that's one thing you don't want Teo to do. What's up, Bam Bam? How you doing, brother? Jay Will, how you doing? It sounds like I'm coming in low. Yeah? All right. Um, let's turn that up a little here. How about that? Let me know if that comes in or if that did the headphones. Let's see here. All right. I'm going to turn that up right there. Let me know how that sounds. What's up with the sound? How about now? Is the sound bad or how's it sound? Teal doesn't have the skill set nor the body frame to clinch and keep Matias off him. So you think, strength wise, Matias is stronger to bust out of his clinch or his attempt to grab him? You think that Matias will frame off and he's stronger and he'll be able to push um Teal back? Um in that regards, I think that Matias might be the stronger fighter, but he's gonna create windows of opportunity for Teal. When he starts to break out of that and try to frame, Teal's gonna try to slip punches. Matias gotta be smart and how many punches he takes from Teal. He also Teal knows how to be deceptive with his placement and speed. He knows how to be deceptive with that, right? He's okay when he's trying to move with the jab. What Teal sucks at is cutting the ring off. He's garbage in it. He can't cut the ring off to save his life. And the thing with that is, if Matia can use angles, that will mess Tio up. A fighter that doesn't stand in front of Teofimo Lopez and let him work, and you keep creating angles and movement with that pressure that Subriel has, you'll wear Tio down. Tio won't know what to do. It's gonna go ugly for Tio. The thing with Tio with in the fight is that Tio has to control the center of the ring. He can't let Matias back him up to the ropes because that's where Matias lives, right? In the firefight. Teofimo Lopez can't fight Subriel's ego. That's what he can't allow himself to get in a firefight with Subriel because I don't think it's going to work out good for him. That's where Subriel has made his career on. He's going to knock Tio out if Tio tries to stand his ground with Subriel, and I wouldn't advise him to do that. I don't think Tio's going to do that. I think Tio's going to work the outside. He's going to work the outside anticipation for Subriel to cross the threshold. He's going to make Subriel pay, and then he's going to try to clinch. Like you said, so Subriel's going to try to break out, be the stronger fighter. How long is he going to be able to do that for? Remember, that takes energy. Framing off, pushing a guy off, you're working, you're pushing your muscles. How many rounds can he do that? We're going to have to see. It's good. Subriel might have to walk through the fire to win this fight against Tio. This is a tough fight right here. This is really that fight we're asking David the Monster Benavidez and David Morale to give us. And are they not giving it to us? These are the kind of fights. Was not Subriel de Matias considered the boogeyman of the 140? And is he not considered the boogeyman right now? All the other champions got the belts. I'm not going to say that Liam Paro's the boogeyman. You see? So, making this fight happen for both fighters is a big move. It's a big step up in competition. Let me read some of your messages. I want to stay with you guys today. Yeah. That's what you said. Yeah. Yeah. He should be a better version of himself. He's gonna understand what Liam Paro did and correct that. So we're expecting to see a better version of Subriel Matias. In fact, bam. Listen, check this out, right? It was like Teofimo Lopez was trying to work on something in that Steve Klajic fight, and he was completely ignoring the front door. Completely ignoring it. He was walking straight forward, right? And I guess Tio, when they highly criticized him for not moving this way or cutting the ring, seemed like he was so hyper focused in the fact that he wanted to be the one to show a little bit of mobility and movement, and he was getting tagged. Teal's got issues, bro. I got to admit, right? When it comes to these lackluster fights, Teal don't show up. But when all the chips are in the middle of the pot, it seems like Teal shows up. When the stakes are at the highest, when he went in there with Josh Taylor and he did that to him and Loma, it seems like when the name is big enough to get him out of bed to actually go train, the guy shows up. When the guy's name is Steve Klajic and Martin, he doesn't show up. I don't know what's up with Tio, but I know he can fight. I know the man can fight. And his mouth, his mouth is garbage. I wish somebody would put a dirty sock in it, right? But I'm not going to let that blind me to what I see and what I know about the sweet science. I'm not going to allow Subriel, being Puerto Rican, to give a more bias towards my guy. I'm going to call it the way I see it. And I have been. Teal's dangerous. I'm letting you all know this. You might let his mouth, deter you from the fighter he is, and I get it. But Teal does show up in the big fights. This is a big fight. Matias is a big name. Now, at 32 years old, I have not seen Matias skip a beat. So I don't see anywhere where that age is going to play a factor in this fight. No. 32 is your prime. You're in your prime. Okay? And so isn't Teal. So this is a good fight. Now, let's remember who Matias is. I think they gave him a little nickname at once upon a time. No mas Subriel Matias. He made five undefeated fighters quit. Let's not forget, tragedy did strike in Subriel's career when he fatally killed a man in the ring. Those hands are dangerous. Liam Paro might have been slick on that one night. You better believe Subriel Matias learned from that night. As a fighter and a warrior, you expect to see your fighter, the next time you see him, a better version of himself. And that he's worked on some things, understands some situations, and what can occur in some of these situations. Let me see what you guys have to say. Salute, guys, everybody joining the live stream. It's an amazing fight. It's a good fight. But let's talk about the elephant in the room. Subriel's got to show up. We all heard what Tio said. Let's not shy away from it now. Let's not. No. I believe Tio said some shit. Now I wish I would have streamed on my other one, right? Because I would have been able to. Yeah, he did. He said Puerto Ricans are easy. I beat them all day. Really, Tio? I always said I would like to see that. And I would like to see him answer to those words. So, in fair competition, right? Sometimes, right, you'll get a guy that'll say something hypothetically here. I'm just bringing up any fighter. I'm not saying that this situation actually occurred, but it does occur in boxing. Let's say a guy comes and says Mexican fighters are weak fighters, right? And they put a Mexican fighter in to fight him, but in fact, that Mexican fighter was never on that guy's level. And he goes in there and he wipes down the Mexican fighter, and he uses that to validate. Didn't I tell you, Mexican? And the other Mexican fighters are looking from the outside, looking in, saying, bro, first, you got a big mouth. Second, you didn't fight our top level guy. So you're trying to beat your chest off not fighting our best. Let us put one of our best in with you, and if you beat them, then okay, right? So that's where we're at. Tio might have beat a Puerto Rican fighter in his career. We didn't feel like he beat one of our best. Matias represents that. Am I right? That's what he represents. So now we got ourselves a fight. We got ourselves a fight. And everything that Tio said, now, worst case scenario, Tio beats him. Shit. It's going to make us look bad, right? Matias got to go in there, and he has to give a good account of himself. He has to make it a great fight, just in case he loses or gets a split decision call or something like that. You know, to give a great account of himself, if not win the fight. You know, the best outcome of it, you know, I don't care how he gets it, whether he stops Tio or goes to 12 rounds and winning a decision or a split decision, as long as he gets the victory, you know, and then, you know, we can say, yeah, how about that now? You know, trying to call us soft and everything. So this is where this fight is intriguing in many different levels. I know that leading into this fight, you know, and what Subriel said about Tio. Remember when Subriel was trying to learn his English, he was like, Tio, pussy, like, yo. So Tio's going to be like, what'd you call me? Right? So Tio's going to come out popping his shit too. You know? So Tio's gonna remind Subriel, and Subriel's gonna remind him. And listen, we got ourselves a good one right here. This is a banger. This is a banger, and it means something. More importantly, in a fight, there's nothing better in a fight when there's a title on the line. When the fight means something. Unfortunately, that Davis the Monster Benavidez fight with David Morrell, it's really for no belts. But that's a championship fight. Make no mistake. That's a championship fight. You're getting that. Yo, that's Christmas right there. You know? It just so happens that one guy got all the belts. You know, it's that kind of situation. But if I guarantee you, if those belts were scattered throughout that division, one of those guys would have been champion. That's a championship fight. But Tio's fight with Subriel, you know, Subriel's on the hunt. He wants a taste of the glory. You know, he was champion before. He loved walking through Puerto Rico. You know, hey, champ. You know, they still call him champ. But actually being the champ, you know, that it's a different, you know what that's like. That's different. So, Subriel misses that. Any champion would. Once you taste That life of being champion, bro. Yo, you open a restaurant. What's your restaurant's name? Whatever name it's gonna be, I guarantee you at the back of it's gonna say champion. Champion's restaurant. Like, yo, you are like they're gonna draw murals on you with the championship belt in your neighborhood. Like, you know, it might name a couple streets after you. I don't know how long, how dominant of a champion do you become, and that's how far your status will take you. That's what a world championship can do for you. You know. So yeah, let me read some of your texts here. Teal's coming to meet Matias head on with high guard. You think so? You think he's gonna meet Teal with the high guard in the center of the ring? Really? That's dangerous, don't you think? That's you're feeding right into Subriel's game plan. Subriel is an inside um brawler. He's a volume puncher with power. He's got snap to his power. I've sat in the front row and heard Subriel's punches firsthand. They sound hard. You know, they were far in between in the closing seconds of the round in the Liam Paro fight. But when I started hearing them, I was like, damn. Liam Paro's shots weren't sounding. They had a good snap to him, yeah. Liam Paro's shots when he was hitting Subriel, they had a good snap. It was like pap, pap. I was hearing him. No doubt about it. He had a good snap. He knew how to turn a punch too. Liam Paro. The good thing he knew how to do was clinch and spin Subriel. He kept spinning him and clinching. And Subriel had the bad habit of resetting. And then he would do this motion where he was in the high guard, like reset himself, then step forward like that. He would take damage coming in, and then he expected to unleash his damage, but Liam Paro grabbed him, and then he would spin around, push him off, recenter, and then Subriel would do like that stepping forward motion again and start over. And Liam Paro was just outworking him, kept spinning him. So Subriel has to learn from that. He's not, if he allows Teal to clinch him, spin him, then it would mean that he never corrected his mistake. And I would be really disappointed in Subriel for not figuring out, you know, how not to let that. And then if I'm Subriel Matias's corner, right? At one point, just before the fight starts, the referee is in your locker room. The referee is explaining to you the rules of how he's going to be officiating and refereeing in the fight. In that moment, that's when all the coaches advise the referee of any fouls they believe the other fighter would be responsible for. So they're gonna say that. They're gonna say, yo, ref, watch Teal clinching. Watch the clinching, and we want point deductions and warnings so that he doesn't grab. Because clinching is technically against the rules. You're not supposed to do it. Why the coach, the referee didn't call Liam Paro out on it in Puerto Rico? God only knows why. I don't know why he allowed him to clinch that much. But you're not supposed to do that. So let's just not act like that's a part of boxing that should be allowed. Excessive holding. You can get points deducted for that. So I'm pretty sure that Subriel's coaches and team, that's going to be one of their concerns. They're going to tell the ref, yo, watch Tio in the grabbing. That's what our concern is. And then Tio is going to issue out any concerns he has to the Subriel camp. And then they enter the ring. You know, everybody that's in their locker rooms, they got one or two boxing athletic committee, officials, and they're the ones that, and the referee is there, and everybody's there. And then when you're getting your hands wrapped, usually there's one member from the other team. The coach from Subriel's team will send the guy over, or he'll go over himself to their locker room to watch their fighter get their hands wrapped. Now, then they take the black marker, sign off on it, put the big X. Everybody's in agreement. They put the glove on like that. Then they do the same thing for the other fighter. One of Tio's guys, usually Tio's dad, will go over to the other locker room and watch the other guy. If you're a coach, a trainer, a manager, and it was your job to go to the other guy's locker room, say you walk in and one of his hands are already wrapped and they're starting on the second hand. Right then and there, you say, start over. They got to start over. You got to see the entire ceremony when how they prepared his hands. And it's got to obey by the rules of whatever city you're in. Like that. Because some rules they feel like excessive tape. You ever see some fighters fight in certain matches? They take off their glove and that shit is like this. Right? Then you see in other cities the fighter fight and it's not that big. It's like that. It depends what their city allows. And I believe that's one of the things we have to work on in boxing. We should be the same in the wrapping, the rule structure should be the same in every country, every city. There should be no controversy. You shouldn't be able to go to Japan and put tape to skin. When you fight in New York, that's illegal. You can only put gauze, then tape. It's two different ways of wrapping your hand. Yeah, it shouldn't be like that. What's up, guys? Let me read your stuff. What's up, King D? What up? That's fight Tio, but Tio always fight the best. Yeah, he fights big against the best. He does. And I was expressing that. I was talking about that. I was saying, yo, for some reason my man shows up. And I'm not gonna front. I know Tio, I talked about it. What he says about his mouth, and even about my Puerto Rican fighters and Puerto Rican people in general. Now, I'm smart to know that I'm covering boxing. So I'm not going to let my feelings, cast, judgment on the way I see it. So I'm always going to be honest on what I see. And I'm telling you right now, I can't front. When I saw Tio, young-ass Tio, fight against Loma, and we got into them championship rounds, like, I was like, when the fuck is Loma going to start fighting? He gave away, like, the first 5 rounds, but then Loma started coming on. Loma started taking over in the fight. I was calling my brother. I'm on the phone with him, bro. I'm like, yo, if you ask me, the kid's doing it. Tio's doing it. My brother was like, yeah, I think he's doing it, Edwin. And I'm sitting there. We hung up, and I'm watching. We got to the championship round. When Tio stood up in the 11th round, you saw Tio get up, and he went like this. That's where the champions are made. He made a decision in his head that I'm not going to rely on if I'm up ahead, how many rounds did I win. Those are the championship rounds. He bit down on the mouthpiece and he went forward. He met Loma in the center of the ring. He fought. He stood his ground. I couldn't be more prouder of the young man. Watching that young man go up of what would they considered to be a 2-time gold medalist, the Matrix in Loma. Like, he was like, I don't know. They were advertising him as the best thing since the invention of the wheel. And to watch that young man, Tio, like the real underdog, he took the Tio fight, Loma, because he thought it was less risk. He didn't fight Devin Haney, and he vacated his belt to Devin Haney because Loma probably thought Devin was going to beat him. But he didn't think Tio was going to beat him. And so let's just remember that Loma dug Devin to fight Tio, and it ended up being kind of a cherry pick gone wrong because everybody viewed that belt gone from Tio. Everybody going into that fight had Loma in that fight. Tio pulled that fight out, bro, like a fucking, like a gladiator, bro. You know, and then maybe the fame and fortune got to his head and he started saying some shit that he must have lost his mind, right? No, he did lose his mind. And then he started fighting these guys, but I'm in agreement. Tio, I would have went to bat for you. Where is it in the world that you should fight the best, fighting the best, fighting the best? 6 consecutive fights of fighting all the top best guys, your career ain't gonna last too long. You're gonna be brain dead. And by the way, in every weight division, there's only like 3 top 4 guys. Where's this notion that you're gonna get these list of best fighting the best fighting? You do that 3 times, there's probably nobody left in your division. You'll be like Naoya Inoue, where he fought all the top guys. Now there's no one left. That's what happens. Then you're like, Naoya, we want to see you fighting the best. There's no one left. How many best of the best you're going to get Tank Davis after he beats Loma, Shakur, and maybe Keyshawn? There's your top 3. Same thing with Naoya. After that, who's left? Where's your best fighting the best, fighting the best? And then get that for every weight division. Just a row of killers. You're not going to find it. So having a break in between fights, Tio, I understood it. Steve Klajic. But you did fight Josh Taylor. And he showed up in that Josh Taylor fight. And I was like, shit. There he is again. There's that guy. But and then Sando Martin. What the fuck was that, Tio? Like, I can't explain it. But I've seen athletes like that. He's the type of athlete that seems to rise in the occasion, in the moment. He seems to be one of those guys. You got to identify these things. All fighters are not the same. You know, that's why Naoya Inoue talked about that. He said, that's why I don't take any easy fights. I need the fight to mean something. I need to know that I need to get out of bed early because I'm concerned because this guy poses a threat. I don't want to feel like I'm going into the fight fighting just anybody. Some guys need that. You know, when everybody's saying, oh, here we go again, he's just going to knock this guy out right here because no one's on his level type shit. That's not a good fight. I want to go into the fight like I did with Tyson Fury and Usyk. Every day I was like, no, Usyk, no, Tyson, no, Usyk, no, Tyson, no, Usyk. That's the fight I want to see. No, Errol Spence, no, Terrence Crawford, no, Errol, no, Terrence, no, Errol, no, that's when you know you got to fight. Now when you're watching a Terrence Crawford fighting, you're like, yep, Terrence should knock this guy out. Ain't much of a fight, is it? What do you guys feel about Tank Davis and Lamar Roach? That's the shit I'm talking about. Oh, we should see Tank Davis knock this guy out. You're not saying Lamar Roach, no, Tank Davis. Lamar Roach, no, Tank Davis. No, you're not. You're just Tank Davis. That's it. Who the hell is saying Lamar Roach? Right? So that's what I talk about. What's up, Frontline? How you doing? Let me see. Mexican boxing #1. Daddy, what? Yeah, big threat. Junto should be unifying. They're just running from him. It doesn't seem like they want to fight him at 118. That's why a lot of big talks about Junto Nagatoni and Naoya Inoue are like in serious talk. And you guys know me at Round 1 Sports Talk. I am a big advocator on saying I don't like reporting all these stories. Because boxers have a tendency of clout chasing, adding their name. How many fighters did Tio attach his name to? before he finally fought somebody. Terrence Crawford, Jerron Boots Ennis, Ken Norton, Brian Norman Jr. Did I almost say Ken Norton? Brian Norman Jr. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Subriel Matias. Come on. I think he said one time he would fight Naoya Inoue, if I'm not mistaken. Tio is one big Devin Haney. How many fight names has he attached his name to? And I tell you guys, I don't report every freaking story. The only ones is the ones that I really feel that have a potential. Because, you know, I want to give you guys the best insight and the best predictions I can. And obviously, everybody wants to be the first to report it, but I'd rather be correct, you know? And I did my due diligence and I did my homework and I reached out and called sources. And that fight with Junto Nakatoni and Naoya Inoue, Bob Arum doesn't seem to want to let it go. He doesn't want to let it go. Bob Arum is saying if he wants to advertise his guy, Naoya Inoue, and get immediate worldwide what he deserves, Bob Arum is saying that's the fighter he needs to be. Because Bob Arum is saying, okay, Naoya Inoue, I understand that you might not be ready to jump up to 126. You might be maxed out, my man. We might be asking a lot from you. But if Junto comes up into the division, what he's doing, another Japanese fighter, and the way he's doing it, shit, didn't you move up in weight and challenge the champion right away? That would be him doing exactly what you did. You're only human. He's got a big name. You both do. And who wins here in the end? Japan. So no matter the outcome, the belts go back to Japan. Right? That's a big fight. And Bob Arum sees an opportunity. He says, want to know something? I want to put that fight together. It'll be easier to put this fight together. That'll be a massive fight. Are you kidding me? Yeah, I'll take Naoya Inoue versus Junto versus. I'm not sure about that, but I was gonna say versus any of the guys at 126. 126 might mean more as far as your career. Entering the 126 would be 5 weight divisions and the opportunity to win another belt in another weight division. That's bigger if you look at it in legacy. If you look at it as in Hall of Fame shit, going 126 would be bigger than fighting Junto. Yes, it would. And we're thinking about a magnitude of a size of a fight, Junto would be bigger because of the Japan status of who's the best Japanese fighter. There's a lot of Japanese people that feel that Junto can beat Naoya Inoue. There's a big following that believes that strongly. So, once again, Naoya's kingdom is being challenged out there in Japan status. So as for status out there, although Junto doesn't have the accolades to stand next to Naoya Inoue, he doesn't have the accolades to stand next to him. No, Naoya is definitely the king, 100%. But that doesn't mean that a young, upcoming general is going to challenge for your kingdom. And a king answers all real threats. He doesn't answer every threat. I'm not gonna answer the guy at fucking number 30, right? You just want a free ride to the top, right? But serious threats, if you're gonna claim to be a king, you gotta perform like one. And a king must take all real challenges. If he comes up and dares to fight Naoya Inoue and he says, yo, I'm ready for you, well, then let's find out. So Naoya Inoue is a true warrior. He's not gonna allow, they don't want to fight against each other in Japan, but they do. Every country does technically, because while you're coming through your country, you're pretty much fighting your countrymen. As you get bigger, you see the value in supporting your other countrymen fighters because there's only few of you. You're not like America that has a lot of huge selection. Mexico is real, got a lot of fighters, in different weight divisions. And some of these countries only have a handful of guys. So they honor each other. There's not so many of them. See? So they try not to take each other out. But when you're at this status, there's plenty of Japanese fighters. They have plenty of world championships. And sometimes, just like on American fighters, we want to find out. We needed to find out who is the best out of Errol and Terrence Crawford. Them two collectively cleaned out everybody else. There was no one left standing. It was just them two. Took a long time for it to happen, but when it finally happened, we got a shocker. We got a shocker, okay? And that's when the American guys should fight each other, when they took everybody else out. Nobody left but you and him. Let's find out who's the best now. Competition. So I can respect the competition in Japan, and you know. See, the difference between them and us, right? Naoya Inoue ain't gonna say to Junto, yo, where are your ticket sales? Where are your, what do you bring to the table? Nah. For them, it's about honor. It's about proving who the best fighter is among them, you know? And I think that, yeah, hold on 1 second. I have to answer the door. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. And then the door was open too. Just turn the knob. What the hell? Anyway, where was I? Where were we, guys? You got Matias front line. It sounds like an echo of sort. Let me see if I do. I sound all right, guys? Do I sound all right? You got no Matias with a no mas. um, I don't think she'll ever make 47. She's too big, bro. She's just too big, man. And then you're gonna blow up Amanda like that. Like, I mean, I think Amanda's more skilled fighter, man. You know, I think she's smart. She could evade her power. And I think Amanda will drag her out into deep water and try to drown her. Um, Clarissa Shields never really been the distance in that with all that weight. That heavyweight girl didn't really put enough of a fight to really see if she would be able to sustain that, Clarissa Shields. So that's not definitive. Amanda would work around her shots and utilize her footwork and try to counter the body. Uh, I think she can expose her. She has a real good opportunity of doing exactly that. So I think that yeah. Oh, that we would have to see. We would have to see. Yeah, guys. It's very low. Still very low. Huh. All right, hold on. We're gonna turn up the mic volume. What about the mic volume right there? How's that? I turned up the mic volume. Oh, by the way, let me just let me drop this in, and it's restream today, guys. I'm gonna drop the live stream. Any of you would like to enter, talk some boxing, we could talk some boxing. Let me see what this microphone thing sounds like, because it's like real echoing in my ear right now. See, I'm using this restream trying to like, but I'm trying to like, let's see here. Should be this one. Is it because I have the microphone position? Let's see here. Why? Is it because I have the microphone position? Let's see here. Okay, I can see what you guys are saying. It's a little bit louder, right? Let's see here. Jesus, I'm way up here with this. The settings on this platform are different. I'm way up here with this. The settings on this platform are different. Okay. How the hell? Okay. This is crazy. Okay. How about that? Let's see. Okay. How about that? Maybe it's right there. Let me see. Maybe it's right there. Let me see. This is bananas. I truly got everything turned up. Well, I don't know. Let's see if it works from here. Cause this is like, I truly got everything turned up. I don't know. Let's see if it works. All right, right there. 26 pounds, guys? You really think she's gonna come down 26 pounds? That's in. I don't see that shit happening. Uh-uh. Um, let's see here. And you know it. Amanda calls the shots. Yo, I mean, if she wants a fighter, it's gonna have to be that. But wow, Clarissa would be. And you know what they're gonna say, right, guys? You know exactly what they're gonna say if she beats her. Oh, she was weight drained. She was weight drained. Amanda had her weight drained, and that's the only reason why. You know that's exactly what they're gonna say, right? So I'm not even sure that the fight would like take place or whatever. I'm not too sure on the rules or how that would play out. It just seems difficult for me to even think that this girl would go down rather than her having difficulty of making weight and wanting to go up. And she put on a lot of weight. She seems to be in a place where she wants to be a runway model now rather than a fighter, Clarissa. You know, so yeah, we're gonna see. What time will tell with that. But yeah, and then you know that so Jack Catterall has also been scheduled to fight Arnold Barboza Jr. And I think that fight's gonna happen in February, right? And that's a big fight right there because both of those men were, you know, promised title fights, you know, and Jack Catterall was told, listen, you beat Regis Progress, definite title fight. Now they gotta wait. Arnold Barboza was told the same thing. You know, you beat this guy or whatever, title fight. In your future, next fight, title fight, right? So it's like I think that boxing axes a lot from these fighters. And they try to give them a lot of promises. Oh, this is a title eliminator. Fight this one. You fight for the title eliminator. No, you're not getting the title fight. You know why? Because you haven't fought for an interim championship. Win the interim champion. He goes out, wins the champion, the interim. Hey, can I fight for the title now? No. You're not getting a title fight. You know why you're not getting a title fight? You haven't defended the interim championship. That's why. Oh, he goes out there, defends the interim championship. Look, you're not getting a title fight. Why? You know why you haven't? Because you haven't successfully unified two interim championships. Unless you do that. And they're always seem to be stringing some of these guys along. Some of these guys are really waiting for their moment in boxing. And some guys have been professional boxer for 10 years and haven't even fought for a world title. I have no explanation why William Cepeda hasn't fought for a world championship. I can't tell you. No more. You know, I defended the man long enough. I thought that he was just going through some situations in his life. But unfortunately, if you follow the breadcrumb trail, it's going to lead right to bullshit. Because he had multiple opportunities, just far too many. And as we're watching with our own eyes, Keyshawn Davis jumped right over him and fight for his belt that he's been the number one for, but he couldn't get the fight. I don't understand. I don't know what's going on over there at Golden Boy. I I don't have anything to say anything anymore because I am a William Cepeda fan. I I like his way of fighting. Then all of a sudden he comes into a fight with Farmer, and Farmer starts talking a lot. And although a lot of people can ignore it or want to what Farmer said, it was very interesting to me. Farmer said, hold up, none of us have been tested. In fact, on this fight card, we are the only two fighters that have not been tested. And to publicly come out and say that, then Farmer goes out and says, what? Yo, I called the testing people myself and told them I volunteer myself to get tested. I said, okay, we're going to schedule you an appointment. We'll call you to take that test. To this day, they haven't called them. Yo, right? And the fight's over with. He still ain't called them. He's still waiting. So when he said that, I'm not saying that Cepeda's doing anything. I have no proof of that. I'm not accusing them of anything. But when they make accusations like that, you start to say to yourself, where do they test the most at? World title fights. He wouldn't be able to get out of a world title fight without getting tested. Sometimes fighters can do a tightrope dance while you're not fighting for a world title. You know, those steroid testing and all those things, that's $1,500 a test. Like, you know, I know they can afford it, but if you're not on a radar, you're not suspected, you know, I guess you could slide under that for a little while. doesn't mean you're a cheater. I'm not sure if it just means that he doesn't feel he's ready. I don't know what it is, but it did spark my curiosity. When Farmer said that about him, I was like, wait a minute. And does it make you a cheater? No, it doesn't. Does it make him guilty? No, it doesn't. Farmer could just be a bitter fighter and said some shit. But at least I would want you as my fighter to shut him up. Prove it. I remember when they called Naoya Inoue a cheater. How did he prove it? By passing 6 consecutive tests leading into the fight. He proved it. His actions spoke louder than words. So I was like, okay. But William Zepeda didn't do that. He didn't do that. So I was like, in fact, he tried to like roll. And then you go back in the history of his fights, and other fighters were saying it. And I was like, oh shit, it was reminding me of this, reminding me of that. And I was like, wait a minute. And then he ain't fighting. And then I was like, but it still doesn't make it official. It still doesn't give me the right to say anything about the man. No, it could just be that the man has cold feet. I don't know. You ever see a guy, get all the way to the championship game? He just can't do it. There's actually athletes like that. They're not cheating, man. They can't get through over that mental hurdle. And it can give you a false sense of the guy. Guys can start questioning, yo, why haven't you? And they can start thinking the wrong stuff and start putting these out. And meanwhile, you're a clean fighter. You're just nervous, I guess. You can't, as an athlete, some of these guys can't, You could perform on all those small stages, singing, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then all of a sudden you get in front of 50,000 fans and you get stage fright. You can't do it. And they're like, yo, you've been in front of stage, in front of people all this time. Like, why would you get stage? No, this is way bigger. Like, I don't know. There's people like that in the world. So I can't definitively just come out here and just say, no, that makes him, and here's the evidence. Nah, that would be me talking shit. I have no right to say that about that man. I can speculate, and everything I said was obviously hypothetical, and I haven't accused him of anything. So I'm just saying what was said from Farmer, other fighters, and how and what it is. You take it from there. You know? You know, this David Morrell fight, David the Monster Benavidez and David Morrell fight, man, that shit is gonna be big, bro. That shit is gonna be big. And it's funny, right? Because in a sense, something tells me that David Morrell is not ready for him, right? And then, I go back and I watch his fights and I watch the people that he fought against. And I say to myself, nah, he looks ready. He looks the part. What I like about David Morrell is he tries to push the action just as much as David the Monster Benavidez does. Now, I have to admit, once upon a time, my biggest concern with David the Monster Benavidez was his footwork. That was it. He had a lot of people, I wouldn't say fooled, right? But he had a lot of people not paying attention to his feet because his offense was so electrifying. He was action. David the Monster Benavidez. So meanwhile, while the fighters were looking up and he's throwing combination, letting off, and pow, pow, you hear them punches, pow, 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 pow. A lot of people didn't look down, but I did, and I noticed that his footwork was trash. Now, in a sense, his footwork has come leaps and bounds in the regards that it doesn't look like that anymore, right? I'm not sure if he has smart feet at all, David the Monster Benavidez. I believe you can trick his lower body to step in awkwardly if put in and pressured in certain boxing situations. If you know what I'm talking about, you know. It means that his feet are not smart enough to go in the next correct position where that his feet would fumble around. In a tight situation, his feet are not, because he's got a lot of pressure. He's got a lot to think about coming his way. You can put him in certain boxing situations that you can cause him to take awkward steps. You can capitalize on him trying to get his bearings back together. And it can look really bad, even if you're missing in an exchange for the judges are seeing him go back and awarding you your forward aggression, and only because you were making him misstep. I don't think David the Monster Benavidez has the smartest feet. I think that he's learning how to he shuffles his feet. It's how he is as a boxer. He's not the type of boxer that stays on the balls of his feet. No, he slides his back foot, steps with his front foot, slides. And he used to cross his feet and stand in a T a lot. So those things, he's been working on them, right? He still has that stepping thing, and where he'll overextend in a lot of his shots, David the Monster Benavidez, right? Because he rather chases you and he leaves his feet on the ground, but he's chasing you with his punch. He doesn't have the smartest feet to move in sequence with his offense. They don't move the same. He needs you to stand in front of him sometimes. Yeah. David Morrell, similar case, but he has a better approach off the front foot. He has a better understanding of how to pivot and how to come in with the front foot, darting in and out. He's better off his front foot than David the Monster Benavidez. As far as their offense, both men have electrifying offenses and can throw a lot of volume of punches. Both men can crack hard. It's really up to see which man lands the bigger shots early and who gets to the target quicker and more often. That's what it's going to seem for me to break down in this fight. Unless David the Monster Benavidez comes out and shows that there is truly a skill gap between them. He's been preaching that he's that much better than David Morrell and that there is a skill gap here. He's going to expose him for the fighter he's not. If he does that, that's what makes these fights impressive and got to me to the point where I want to see that. I want to see one of these fighters, like, you ever see that moment in the fight where, they came out all cocky and shit, and you see that defining moment where worry starts to come over his face. He looking like he doesn't want to be in the fight anymore. And he could see the fight slipping away. When you see that moment, you saw Adrian Broner come into that fight, right? And Adrian came in cocky, was humping the dude in the ring, playing around until boom, shit got serious. And you saw that is his yo, you could see it. You ain't so tough anymore, are you? And you could see it start to turn into doubt, and the fight starts to slip away from him. The confidence of the other guy is getting stronger. He's getting stronger. You're getting weaker. It's nothing like conquering, man, dominating your opponent, beating him down, man. You know, a lot of people say, you know, the knockout's the best thing, but I don't agree. You got out of it easy. Simple. I knocked you out. You felt no pain, no shame, no doubt. I didn't beat the fight right out of you, man. That's worse. You do something to that fighter. You show him this entire time you thought you were him until you ran into me. There's no better way, bro. In front of the whole world. That fucking world stage, man. There's no better feeling, bro. Hell yeah. Defeating all challenges, bro. Defeating all challenges. You can look back at your career and just be like, that's what kind of man, what kind of fighter I was. There's a lot of different kind of fighters in this world. Whether you like your fighter for what your fighter did for you, the ahs and the oohs that your fighter gave to you, you know, whatever way you view your fighter, you know, support your fighter. That's why we like watching these fights. And I'm going to love to see Teofimo Lopez fight Subriel Matias. You're damn right. And I just might have to save up to go out to that fight. So please donate to the channel. Help your man get out to that fight. I know Subriel personally might get some good access back there. Help me get there, family. March 15th is going to be the fight. Yo, why is it every time Tank Davis and Subriel fight, they fighting on the same days and shit? What the hell is this Tank Davis Subriel? Wait a minute. Did he say March 15th? What day is this Tank Davis fight again? Did that night say March 15th, March 14th? What did that say? Where's my goddamn paperwork? Yo, what is this? Trying to set up my boys Subriel. Don't want him to be seen or something? They always putting Tank in front of him, huh? I just caught on to that right now. Just now. Yeah, ain't he supposed to fight Rocha in March? Somebody put the date down for me. Put the date down in the thing if you could do that. He said, Baby said, ducking. Nice. And you wanted one, huh? All right, I'm in live. Thank you. Yo, Bam. We might have to do something to go see that fight. And you know if they gonna throw that fight in New York. Where else would you put that fight to get? Well, you would be fighting in Teal's backyard now, right? Wouldn't that? But not necessarily. Because, like, in a weird way, It kind of would be because New York's little Puerto Rico. That's 100 right there. So who's the home field guy there in that situation? You put Subriel Matias and Teofimo Lopez in Madison Square Garden in New York City. Who's got home field advantage? Teo's born in the Bronx, New York, right? Subriel's Puerto Rican. New York is saturated. That's second Puerto Rico right there, right? You ever want to meet a Puerto Rican or see one? If you've never seen a Puerto Rican man or woman in your life, just visit New York City. They're everywhere, right? Right? So that's interesting. Put them Puerto Rican parade going around that time. Festivities, New York, Subriel in the building. Oh, that would be big. They might just boo Tio in New York. Imagine that, huh? They might just boo Tio's ass. Because remember, the majority of Tio's fans were Puerto Rican. We're Latin Latin people. Latin people support each other, in fights. Like I support Saul. They were in my household. We're not Mexican, but when Saul fought, we were all cheering for him. We show love to our fellow Latin fighters. You know, so Tio's not Puerto Rican, and he may look it a little, but he's not. And I don't think I think he's zero Puerto Rican. I don't think his father's Puerto Rican either, or his mother. None of them. I think his mother's something else. I forget what she is. Not sure. Nah, but I don't think Tio has no Puerto Rican there at all. So, but his fans were of Latin in New York. Yeah. Then he went running his mouth and lost like 60% of that, I bet. I think some fight fans like were turned off by it, but they were mature enough to say, "All right, fighters say the darnest things." I didn't like Tio. I wasn't watching Tio because he was running his mouth. I was watching Tio because he was fighting. So when people would view it like that, probably turn down the volume to watch Tio talk. But when it comes time to see Tio fight, that's what we were watching him for. So as a fighter, Tio is definitely an interesting fighter. He's one of the top fighters over there at Top Rank. And Bob is trying to get his dollar amount out of Tio too. Tio's never really hit that plateau of pay-per-view great fighter slash he's just a free TV fighter. You know, if you already have ESPN Plus, you'll watch him for free. So but we're gonna see where this fight with the win and where. I didn't check on to see where the fight. Chills from Brooklyn. Yeah. Oh, from the Brooklyn. Yeah, from Brooklyn. Did I say the Bronx? I might have said the Bronx. Maybe I did. Maybe I might have messed that up. But he's from Brooklyn. We adopted that bastard. Yeah. Listen. Yeah, man. He won a lot of us over and the respect of a lot of fighters when he won against Loma. I repeat, that's really when Tio, he was doing some pretty good shit in 130, knocking people out, etc., etc. When they came up and all met at 135, we all get excited. At that time when we're looking back at in those days when it was like young as Ryan, young Devin, young T.O., young Tank Davis. You know, Shakur was still at 130. He wasn't in the division yet, but it was old ass Loma, you know, and Linares and those kind of guys and shit. And we expected a lot of big fights. And it seemed like at the end, in the end, truth be told, the only fighter that ever stepped up and gave us the fights was freaking Ryan Garcia. Out of all those fighters, I would have never thought it would have been Ryan Garcia, the one that initiated these fights. He's the one that went after Tank. Ryan went after Devin Haney. These guys didn't chase each other. None of them fought each other except Tio and Loma. That's it. We never got that explosion that we expected. And out of all those fighters, I gotta honestly say, Ryan's the only one that did some shit. Win, lose, or draw, that kid talked his way into all those fights. He didn't have the credentials. He didn't have the world title fights. He never competed for a world championship. He literally talked his way into the biggest fights, win, lose, or draw, and in one of them, he shocked the world. The outcome was what it was, but on that night, after you turned off your laptop, phone, TV, wherever you was watching it, and you walked away, no scandal broke yet. What the hell did you just witness? What did you just see? How is the rest of your night playing out? Imagine you put money on Devin, like a lot of money, because you saw Ryan Garcia leading into the fight having a meltdown. And you saw what we believe was a skill gap. Ryan Garcia proved to the world styles make fights. There was a skill gap there. He was a better fighter than me. But I had one weapon that was highly effective. Devin couldn't adjust to his speed, and he got clipped. And the rest was history. The outcome, I'm not here to argue the outcome. We'll be here all night. We all know what happened. I'm talking about where I'm at in the moment. I haven't got there yet. I'm still on that night. I'm right there. Front and center. Whap, 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 whap. Damn. Pretty shocking to me. I'm just there. I'm good. Y'all can leave. Y'all go talk about that other shit. Go ahead. I'm going to sit right here. I'm still watching the fight. Rewind that. I got to figure out what the hell I'm seeing. Right? So, and I did. And I broke it down for you guys. I told you guys it was never Devin's defense, like a lot of people were saying. The defense had nothing to do with that fight. Absolutely nothing. It was his selection of weapon. What he chose to throw in that sequence. He couldn't adjust to Ryan Garcia's length and speed. His length and speed, how Ryan Garcia got to him, surprised Devin Haney. He didn't think he was going to get to him that fast. That he miscalculated that. Then his point of attack, he used what we call the bow and arrow jab, where you throw your jab like this. You throw it like this. And the reason why you do that is because you're going to be evading. You're moving. That's a jab you use when you're moving. You're circling out typically, but that's why you throw it like that. In the wrong sequence, if you throw that jab, you leave yourself exposed. Ryan Garcia clipped him heavy. And what he did was, is he rolled right into the side where Ryan Garcia's punch was landing. So it was Devin Haney's selection of weapon. It's what his approach was wrong. It wasn't his defense. Because what you're trying to say is that he didn't have his hand up and he got clipped by a shot. Well, then in order for him to have his hand up, he would have had to throw a different jab. So now you're changing the entire sequence of events just to justify that you say that it was defense. So you want to alter the fight to prove your point when how I prove my point, I keep everything the same. What exactly happened? That's why I know that these guys are just saying anything and print. Yeah, it was his defense. Devin Haney's defense sucked. No, you're just saying what you heard. I don't really think you know how to break down a fight. It was his selection of weapon, 100%. The defense had nothing to do with it at all. He was in the wrong placement, everything. Yeah, Ryan was longer, stronger, and quicker. He never faced Ryan like that. He got clipped. Yeah. So, the rematch. Look, there's one thing that bothered me in that fight. On that night with Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney, when they finally got into the ring and they were standing in front of each other, just before they, the referee's reading them their instructions, touch gloves if you want to type shit. So they're standing in the middle of the ring. And in that very particular moment, I looked at Ryan Garcia and I said to myself, that dude looks like he's 2 divisions bigger than Devin Haney. When Devin Haney turned around, the next thought in my head wasn't Devin Haney criticized for being a weight bully at these lower weight divisions? When in fact, now that he's moved up in weight, just one weight division, 140, he looks smaller than all these other guys. And in that night, Devin Haney got small to me. In my head, he doesn't seem like this weight bully anymore. He actually looks fragile right now. I'm not sure that's the word I wanted to use, but he doesn't look big anymore. Why? What did that night do to him, even as a persona? He doesn't look like the big bad wolf anymore. And in fact, if he was to move up another weight division, I think he would even be smaller. I'm not sure. Maybe he could pack on the muscle and move up and blow up a little bit better. I would hope so. But on that night, when he got in the ring with Ryan, legitimately, I was like, holy shit, Ryan looks like a middleweight. He sure the fuck did. Against little ass Devin. And that means that Devin was fighting smaller guys that should have never been at 135, such as Loma. No wonder Loma looked so small against him. Loma's not a true 135 pounder in the first place. He's a 130 pounder. Loma only moved up to 135 because of the bigger names and the bigger fights. And he felt like he already did what he needed to do at 130. So to pursue bigger names, bigger fights, he went up to 135 to fight bigger guys. But Loma was always considered little for 135. Am I right? That's why Devin looked big. He's already fighting little dudes. So when I saw him in the bigger weight division and there were dudes more around his size or bigger, I was like, that's why he's not. So now I'm a little worried for Devin. Now I need him to pack on a little bit of size. He's got the height, a little. For 147, there's some tall guys there. Some guys that could cut some weight. Pretty big, man. Okay? Mario Barrios is pretty big, bro. For that, have you ever met Mario Barrio in real life? Mario Barrio's kind of big for that weight division, bro. He's big. I wouldn't say Jerron Bruce Ennis is the biggest guy I've ever seen at that weight division. No. No, I wouldn't say that. I think he would be like average. But there's some bigger guys than that. Um so yeah, like how would he fare? You know, you it's already I could already see that if Ryan Garcia was to fight him, let's say at 147 or even a catch weight at 143, because as we all know, Ryan Garcia can't make 140. He's not going to be able to make it. His last 3 fights were he actually came in 143 on both fights. So he's not making that weight. Respectfully, do you allow Devin Haney to go all the way up to 147 to make it in a real division? Or do you make the fight in a catchweight fight? Because either way, the fight wouldn't be for a world championship. Either way. It's not going to, you know what I mean? So it really doesn't matter if you put it at a catchweight or at the real weight. It's just going to be a fight between them two and their names. That's it. So when you look at it in that aspect, where do you have the fight at when he does finally come back? Right? Okay. And do you think that Devin Haney will fare well with more weight? Do you think that was his problem? That he might have been a little too small for Ryan, and Ryan blew up a little bit too much. Do you believe that was his fault? Or are you more on the line that his technique was what? He was a little sloppy in his approach, maybe not respecting Ryan and giving Ryan the full respect he deserved, and he thought he can get away with some shit. And you get caught. Shit happens. I still think Devin Haney is the more skilled of the two fighters. Devin Haney's young, just as young as Ryan. But I definitely want to see that fight again. We have to. If you don't want to see that fight again, like, in a way, out of like all the shit they put themselves through, yeah, I could see why. Nah, I'm not gonna fuck with you, right? But we need. I have questions, man, and I need answers. I gotta know before I freaking go to my grave that Devin, the more skilled fighter, show the boxing world that your skills pay the bills, damn it. Don't let this shit go. Come on, man. Because Ryan is gonna, like, the message he's sending, I can fuck off, drink, smoke weed, not train, and win the biggest fights in the world. Well, man, Devin, you gotta stop that shit, bro. Come on, man. Like, I don't know, man. He's gotta stop it. Every day he was tested. And then at the last 10 days leading to the fight, they said Ryan Garcia got a bright idea and said, you know what? Let's do Austrian. It sounds utterly ridiculous. Like, just your choice of PE was suspect. I mean, if you really wanted to cheat, he could have used, and I'm telling you, at least 35 way better PEs. He could have even used a fast acting one where it's out of your system in 24 hours so that you can just get the advantage of it and be clean. He could have used the fast acting PE. There were 100 PEs he could have used than fucking Austrian. He's got money. Austrian is like, that's like smoking catnip when you got Kush at home. Why would you smoke the catnip? Just wait until you get home. Nah, I'm desperate. Let's smoke this catnip, see if it gets us baked. No, it's not going to. I'm Ryan Garcia, and I have a great idea. Let's do the catnip. Yo, it's ridiculous to think. And listen, let me also give up the opportunity of fighting for my first world championship. Let me blow that away. Let me damage my family name and possibly tarnish my career. Yo, that sounds like a good idea. Let's do it. Sign me up. It just sounds too far-fetched to be true that he would have decided to do that. If you couldn't make weight, just announce you couldn't make weight, pay the fine, and continue the fight like you did. There was no need to cheat. Not that close. That shit should have already been breaking down in your... If you were coming off of it, what they would have found the trace amounts to be would have been the chemicals that that drug broke down in your body too. No, what they found in his system was the drug at its... right there. Boop. Yeah, it says you administered this 4 days ago. That's where it says. So I know for a fact that those steroid tests can tell you to the time, to the moment that the drug was introduced to your body. Now, if Ryan Garcia's lawyer was smart, he would get those test numbers from the testing place. But since the thing is going to court, they're forced to hold off until the motions go in and the judges allows it. Now they're in a different position. Now they gotta wait for that shit. But had they not went to court, I'm pretty sure he wouldn't have went down there, got that. You know why? Because I worked in a hospital, and when the ladies used to come in and say they didn't use drugs with their kids, they would test them. When that test came back within 24 hours, they were able to determine when she smoked that, when she injected, when she sniffed it, when she drank it, to the second. So if you can do that, for testing in a hospital, imagine what you can do in a steroid testing lab. They literally can tell you when the thing spikes in your body. It'll say like 12:30 on Tuesday is when this was. So you could pretty much guess, what the fuck was I doing 12:30 Tuesday? And you could start to like try to put it together. Wait a minute, who was around me? What was I doing? Yo, I was on the table getting the IV at that exact time. Bam, now you know definitively. Or I was in the gym and I drank from this bottle. Bam. You can start to try to like locate, but you're going to need that information. I don't think they just hand that out. They never hand it out to the pregnant woman in the hospital, and they never, in fact, reveal this to any woman. That is the biggest kept thing in the hospital when we were working. We're not allowed to tell. The chart in our hand knows it. We could only ask you the questions. We know you're lying, but we can't tell you we know. They figure if that would be the way to keep people honest. Like, I guess, I don't know. They don't reveal it. But in fact, that's 100%. They can, you take a bump of coke or weed, you go into a hospital and they test you, That test is right to the second when it came into your body. It was administered in any way. There's no way around it. You're not going to tell me that steroid testing doesn't have that shit. If your local hospital has it, your local straight city hospital, that's how they test. Because our city had a lot of ODs and stuff, a lot of the drug infested area, and that's why they implemented stuff like that. You go to the hospital in my city, for a code, they take a drug test from you. For a code, you don't nothing to do with drug. I got a code. You got in order for them to see you. It's that's a motherfucker, right? It is, but it's like that. It really is. So those guys think Devin's done. There's no way on God's green earth Devin is done as a fighter. Then Devin as a fighter just has to find his way back to fighting. Devin right now is fighting a lot of distractions in his life. He just got to embrace the situation. You as a fighter, you have to learn from that. Rather than looking at it as so bad, how did my wife view me? How did my dad, my brothers, sisters, etc., my friends, families, loved ones, what do they think about me? What are they saying about me? Rather than taking that approach, Devin Haney needs to take the approach of what can I learn from that situation so that I'm never back there. That's all he has to get. He can get there. As far as damage as a fighter, Devin Haney took very little damage throughout his career. I'm pretty sure he could sacrifice one ass whooping. He's nowhere near to saying that he's a damaged fighter. No, he's never been knocked out like that. None of that shit. So one good ass whooping, I don't think is going to put that many miles on my man. What I really believe that Devin Haney is fighting is more mental, where that he has to believe in himself as a fighter. And he has to know that even if he experiences hard times in a fight, that he was never a quitter. He kept getting up off the ground off Ryan Garcia, which is a good indicator that his warrior spirit didn't want to concede in a loss. He was going to ride this one out, and he did. So as far as moral victories, I believe Devin Haney won himself over a moral victory because only Devin Haney knows how much damage he was taking in that fight against Ryan and how he was not willing to concede in the fight. So you know his heart is still there. The only thing that is there is that he needs to believe in himself, get his mind back right, and get back into the winning ways and get a belt back around his waist because he is a champion and he needs to go out there and perform as a champion. His daddy, that's fucked up, guys. I'm not going to mention the pool parties with Diddy and Devin Haney. As we all saw, the gargles, the gargles were to protect you from baby oil going in your eyes because the baby oil was coming out right after that. So you had to be gargled up, safety first, before penetration, so someone could get hurt here. You know what I'm saying? Somebody's cock can get twisted. Okay, we don't want that. We've seen that before in a P. Diddy party, and Devin Haney, he had his gargles. I'm not, listen, listen, that doesn't automatically make him a bad person, man. It was just celebrities hanging out with celebrities, man. Devin Haney went home before the party started, okay? I don't think you want to drug a professional boxer. A fighter like that, and he wakes up with his booty hole tampered, he's not going to be in a good mood. I don't think he wants to talk. You might have to kill him in real life. So I don't think you do it to men like that. So in actuality, but now him participating in shit, him being the one that's you can't never rule out, you know. So P Diddy had a lot of friends, a lot of people he invited over. He would test the waters and see if you would go for it. One minute you're sitting there and you're drinking a drink with P Diddy, and then all of a sudden you turn around and there's a guy bent over with his asshole, and he's like, "Hey, what do you think about that?" And to get your reaction. If you let him put his hand on your lap, and all of a sudden 2 minutes later it's on your shoulder, then all of a sudden it's around you, and you ain't said nothing. He's just P Diddy making his move. You know what I'm saying? you got to tell him no. So, I don't know how far any of these men and women went in these parties or what transpired. I wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, before P Diddy, all this shit allegations come out, and P Diddy was just P Diddy, right? And you met him, and he invited you out to a pool party. Were you going to say no? Don't fucking lie, Bam. You already got your swimming trunks. Your towel was around your neck, and you actually had a bottle of baby oil in your back pocket. You were prepared and ready to go. And Armando and Frontline were right behind you with their with swimming tubes around. What? Pool party? We're in. Like, yo, you guys were on your way. So don't even lie. All right? Like, that's a billionaire dude inviting you to come out with like dime pieces, you would imagine, right? And then you get there and the dime pieces turn around and they got bulges in the front of their fucking G-string. And the party's not feeling right. I am no longer in Kansas. You know what I'm saying? I'm out of here. But I noticed that Bam and Armando and them stood. I was like, yo, get your asses over. Put down the baby oil. Let's go. Get in the car. I got to drag them out of there. But, if not, they would have been in trouble. So they actually thank me. And to this day, Yo, I'm not sure I would have told them no. And then all this shit would have came out. Y'all would have saw Round One Sports Talk up there with P. Diddy and Devin Haney and a pair of gargles. And I would have a lot of explaining to do. You know what I'm saying? What actually happened? And I'm just going, listen, I left. Devin stood. I mean, yo, but that doesn't make Devin Haney a bad guy. He probably just had a baller night. I'm pretty sure P. Diddy probably shot his shot and Devin looked at him like he was crazy or something, like, motherfucker, what? Like, and P. Diddy might have backed off. Just like he shot his shot with Mike Tyson. Remember when Mike Tyson was there and he took his hand and was like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? P. Diddy didn't mess with Mike again, did he? Nah, P. Diddy gonna shoot his shot. But you just gotta, you gotta be, I don't know which way it went. Wasn't there. So it looks bad. It looks crazy, but that's crazy, Bam. You got me talking about him, huh? Yo. Crazy. Not even Ryan would have went to that show. Yo. Armando, you got to say no. You got to say no, Armando. Yo. Hey, yo, Cyber Right, Robin, you 100. They would have said yes. They would have all been lubed up, ready to go. Yo, they would have denied it all after. Nah, I wasn't there. What about these photos? Oh, shit. Yo, what are you doing next to LeBron and Devin Haney? Armando. Yo, Bam Bam was taking the picture. You know what I'm saying? Yo, that's crazy. My man is gonna go to jail for having way too good of a time. Damn, where's shit going? Can't baby oil and drug people up anymore? You know what I mean? You're not supposed to drug people. Oh my God, Freaky P Diddy, bro. That's crazy. But I tell you what, I'm in firm believer of him falling like that from grace saved the rest of us. His fall from grace. Nowadays, if you even say anything remotely on the line, borderline going that way, you go, no Diddy, right? And now you got kids saying, no, they don't want to be like that. His sacrifice saved the world. Yo, now when you think of something and going that way, yo, you straight Diddy, bro. Yo, you suspect, right? And now they're not going with it. Now they're like, yo, wait a minute. Maybe I don't want to go that way. And he saved the world. yo, yo, man, that's crazy. How his fall from grace. Like his name was revered you know, in a high standard in the music world. You know, he was a staple and icon in pop culture and music and rap, and now that your name is attached, that's just wow. Like the Achilles heel. Achilles, for such a great warrior that he was, he should be known for being a warrior. Instead, when you say his name, what do you think of? The Achilles tendon, where they say he fell in battle. They don't know him for all the remarkable things he did. In the end, his name was looked at like a sign of weakness. That's crazy. His name, P Diddy's name was it was big in the bad boy. And now when you think of his name, you attach it to that. What a fall from grace. What a fall from grace. Your name has become a joke, a punchline, a meme. You say Diddy, people in the room laugh. Everything you built, the image, the persona, the scary figure, that's all gone. Gone. Every time they say your name, it's in regards to not being like that. What a fall from grace, man. You got to change your name again. Dr. Love. Diddy. His next name is Dr. Love. Yo. It's crazy, man. Devin got to see Young Thug? Nah. That bitch ain't worth it. Mm-mm. Fuck that. A ninja's gonna be a ninja. You know what I'm saying? All day, every day. It's up to your bitch not to accept what I'm pushing, what I'm talking, what I'm spitting in her ear. If she was a real lady and she was for you, she wouldn't have to hear anything I had to say, anything slick, because she was happy where she was at. The minute she gave me the opportunity or went out on that lunch or got in my car, she was interested. A dude's gonna be a dude. That doesn't make you or break you in any way. What she does with her coochie, you might want to think you control it. She calls you daddy at night, but it's actually attached to her body. She could do whatever the fuck she wants with it, can't she? And men will surely soon find that out. That if a girl came on to a dude, right? You know, the girl's gonna expect him to be a dude, right? But the girl, there's a little bit more work. I legitimately gotta talk you into taking off your pants. You gotta be willing to do that. Like, so how did we get to the point where I had you bent over in a closet somewhere? How did we get there if the girl wasn't with it? So technically, as men, we feel disrespected or less than. But in reality, what does another dude banging that chick do to you? He ain't banging you. In actuality, she's the one that should be taking the criticism. You banging these dudes. In actuality, you saved me from a problem. If she could bang you, she really wasn't about me. And I ain't about to fight you over a girl that was never for me. Once I started realizing that, don't try to control her. I'm not going to fight over her vagina. You want to give it away? You felt like that's what you chose to do? Well, then go ahead. I've moved on in relationships and I ran into the same girl. And whether she wants to admit it or not, she knows she fucked up. I value myself. But now I'm doing my own thing and I gotta go. You can stay right there. That's it. The only way I've ever fought for over a girl when the dude wasn't hearing what I said. And yeah, I kissed the girl. She was your girlfriend. And I told you, bro, she would have to kiss me, bro. You got to understand that she chose to do that knowing she's with you. I'm just saying that. And you ain't going to do that. Well, now you try to throw a punch. Now it's not about her. Now I just got to put my hands on you, right? Okay. So, as far as Devin Haney and his situation, I think Devin Haney's going to be in a situation where he's not going to be with the first girl he had a kid with. She's going to be a problem the rest of his life with that kid they're about to have. And she's not mother like, she was brought up in a world where material dominated her life. I don't know much about her, but I could definitely follow the crumb trail. If you look up, wasn't she a Charlie's Angel type chick that ran with a crew in Miami? They got pictures of her sister. These are all facts. You're not going to tell me you're going to get a girl that has been living that kind of lifestyle, messing with these kind of men with this kind of money, athletes, rap stars. Look at who her former boyfriends were, which was Young Thug. So that's the circle she runs in. And all of a sudden, one day, you're going to have a baby with her, and she's going to turn into a housewife the minute she gives birth to that baby. Men, we wonder why we do some things to ourselves, but, you know, not all of us are smart, man. Not even myself, bro. I did some dumb shit, you know what I mean? And then you realize it a little too late, man. You watch it unfold with this shit. Yeah. We're watching it unfold with Travis Hunt, too. But Travis Hunt's situation is bananas. Like, straight bananas. She was in an Adidas commercial with him. Like, she legitimately believes she's on his level. Like, she's the star. Or they need to put a microphone in her face. Like, she actually did some shit. That's alarming. That's alarming. Most of these athletes' wives, you never see them. If they stop their husband, the wife circles around, gives her husband their moment. And they're proud of watching their husband sign an autograph or get an interview. They're sitting back looking at their fiance or the girl or Her man is like getting out of the way. It's not about me. You're the athlete. You're the star. Trevor Hunt, she's pushing him out of the way and being like, hey, curling her hair, talking, what I was doing and being on videos at some dude's house with that chick. That situation is bananas to me. Like bananas. Like I'm looking at it like she was in the Adidas commercial that did it for me. I was like, she really thinks she's a star. That's incredible. That's incredible. She ain't did shit. But anyway, fight fans, listen, I've been on long enough with you guys. You guys are the best. Armando, always love. You guys know it's always jokes. Front line, bam, bam. You know what I mean? And, you know, we could always talk boxing here. Listen, guys, I got something I wanted to say, wanted to share, but I gotta look up on it. So I'm gonna actually announce it tomorrow. So I'll do that. I'll do that. I'll just wait for that. I'm already getting off right now. There's no need to get into this because I'll start getting into another spill, fucking talking about it. So we'll have something to talk about tomorrow. So fight fans, listen, do me a favor, like these videos for me. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. You guys have been amazing. Love talking boxing with you guys. Happy holiday. Hope you guys have a great New Year's Eve. We will be counting down these fights, waiting for some of these big fights to arrive. So, fight fans, I'm on to the next one after this one here at Round One Sports Talk. Thank you. Yeah, I've had a great time being your host here. And where do all fights start? Round one.